Okay, here we go with another Transformer review. This time I'm doing the Universe Micromaster version of the Constructicons. And here we go. So right here I got the packaging here. I'm just going to kind of talk about this a little bit here. As you can see there, it says 1 of 6. So much like the original G1 version of these guys here, there was 6 individual Constructicons and you had to buy them all individually if you wanted to put them together to form Devastator. And on the back here, this is the main reason why I wanted to show this, it shows, the complete Devastator, and it shows all the different Constructicons in the set. And if you kind of notice here, they've changed around some of the names on here. Not exactly sure why, but I imagine it has something to do with them, owning the copyright or trademark or whatever it is. For the characters' names, they've probably expired, so rather than get them again, they just change the names to something easier to get. Anyways, obviously here, Hightower should be Hooks, or Hook. Quick Mix is Mixmaster. Bone Crusher still Bone Crusher. Long Haul still Long Haul. Buckethead is Scrapper. And Scavenger is still Scavenger. So there he is there. And you can see there's Devastator there. So eventually that's what we'll end up here with by the end of the review. So enough about that. Let's just kind of move on here and talk about the actual toys here themselves. I got them all here in their little robot modes, and we'll start off here by just kind of zooming in and taking a little look at the detail on these guys. These are the Micromaster sized figures, so they're rather small. Not the smallest Transformers, but they're still small nonetheless. They're a little bit smaller than a typical, mini bot. But let's just kind of bring these guys over here and just kind of go one by one and look at them up close. So there you go there. And you kind of see the detail there. There's the guy's face. This here is Hooks. Or what do they call him? Hightower. So there's Hightower according to the packaging. So that's him there in his little robot mode. And let's bring in the next guy. This here is Long Haul. Just kind of go out just a little bit so you can see him there. And because these guys are Micromasters, they're not going to have a real high level of articulation, so they're kind of like little mini bricks in a way, kind of like the original G1 toys. Anyways, here's Mixmaster, or as they call him here, Quick Mix. So that's him there. Just kind of show him off there. So he's obviously the little cement mixer. I'll set him to the side. And here is Bone Crusher, who they still call Bone Crusher. He's pretty cool looking, I like him. So that's him there. And set him to the side. And let's bring in here, this guy here is the shortest one of the bunch. And that is, was it Scrapper, I believe? But now he's called Buckethead. So that's him there. The thing I don't like about this guy, other than him being kind of shorter than the rest, is if you look here, you'll notice when you get him in his little robot mode, these wheels are right in the way of where his arms are. So you can't really move his arms past that point, which it's kind of lame. Maybe they could have put these up here, had him attach here instead of back here, so you could actually move his arms a little bit. And here's the last guy here, which is Scavenger, and he's still called Scavenger. So there you go there. Just kind of turning him around like so. So that's basically them there in their little robot modes. Now, before we move on, let's talk about the accessories. And each one of these guys came with a different part or body part to form Devastator. And here they go. Here's all the little parts. So you get a little pile of parts here. You get the, the chest and torso there with the head on it. The head does rotate. So that's about the only articulation you're going to get with this body part here. Then there's the legs and waist part here. And it's pretty much just a shell. It's all hollowed out on the back. So yeah. The feet, you got a left and right foot. And it's got the little pegs there, and they're hollow on the underside too. And you got the fists, Obviously a left and right fist. Not much there to talk about. And then he's got his little weapon here, his little blaster or cannon. And if you'll notice, it looks obviously very different from the original sculpting of the G1 version of Devastator. And they kind of did that for a reason. And that reason is, if you take all these parts, you can kind of form them together and make like a little spaceship out of it. And to do that, you just kind of attach everything here on the little posts. They don't really show you this in the instructions with these guys, that at least I don't remember them showing it to you, but I have seen it online, so that's kind of where I learned that you can do this with this guy here. Oops, some of my figures are falling over there. Anyways, you just plug in the fists here, like so. And if you want, you can rotate the head around so that it's not looking up at you. And then you just take the feet and peg them in here onto the other side of the fist, like so. And like so. And then you basically just attach the legs here like you would when you're going to convert them into Devastator or combine them into Devastator, like that. Oops, the little leg or foot here came off. Let's push that in a little bit more. And like I was saying, this is sculpted the way it is because it actually kind of forms like the front end of the ship, and it just kind of slides in here like so. And there you go. So now you got this somewhat spatial looking or spaceship looking configuration here. So yeah, it's, you know, nothing real fancy, but it is something extra to do with all the little odds and ends. And it's kind of cool too because you can kind of store them all connected here, so you don't have to worry so much about losing any of the parts. You know, a lot easier to keep track of them when they're all together like this. And you can put one of the guys in here. There's a little post in here, and I think all these guys have a little hole on the bottom of their feet where you can peg them in and make them stand in there, so that you can kind of have them like flying the spaceship, you know. So anyways, that's how you do that. So let's go on here to the next part and talk about turning these guys into their little alt modes. And each one of these is pretty simple. So I'm just going to kind of run through these rather quickly, and you can just kind of watch along here. Most of them are pretty much just a matter of folding up the legs and moving the arms back. So yeah, there's not, you know, any kind of real high level of transformation to these guys. So there's a Scrapper, and we'll do hooks here, or highbrow or high tower, or whatever they call them. Or actually, this is a Scavenger, excuse me. So there you go. There he is there in his little alt mode with the scoop. This does move like so. It's got some articulation to it, and you can rotate this part all the way around like that. And we'll do a long haul here. Just flip his head back, kind of move his arms back, and you actually got to kind of lift his chest up. This guy's a little bit more involved in the other ones, like that and like that. Just kind of push those back to the side. Now you got him in his little dump truck there, and we'll do a bone crusher here, and just flip his head in, rotate his arms down, lift the scoop up, and just kind of pop this in like so. This guy's a little stiff here. There we go. So there he is in his little bulldozer mode. And here's a Mixmaster. Just flip the arms back and fold in the legs like so. So again, pretty simple. And pretty much the same thing with this guy here. Just flip the legs back and then extend out the little crane part here. This guy does have some articulation. This part here moves, the little crane part moves, and you can rotate this all the way around like so. So that's them there in all their little alt modes. So let's just kind of line them up here and take a quick look at them. Set this out of the way. So that's them there. And let's just kind of pan in here. Let's take a look at them real quickly. So there's Bone Crusher, Long Haul, Hooks, or Hook, Mixmaster, Scavenger, and Scrapper. Am I getting his name right? I can't remember if it was Scrapper or something else, but anyways. So now let's get him into the Devastator mode. So let's just kind of take all this apart. This part here gets a little tricky. It kind of really gets locked in there, but there we go. Popped it out. Take this off. All that. That. And this you can just leave like it is because that's pretty much the majority of him right there. Let's just go out a little bit. But let me refer to the instructions here. So you can kind of see who forms what. There's going to be the legs. So Mixmaster and Long Haul form the legs. Scavenger and Hooks form the arms. Scrapper is going to be the chest. And Bone Crusher actually kind of goes on the back, which is kind of a shame because you don't really get to see him there on the back. But just take these guys, pretty much just stand them up like so. And you're just going to peg them into the little feet attachments here. So they just go in like this. And let's do a Bone Crusher, or actually a Long Haul here, like that. So there's the legs, like so. So just set those there. And these attach right back here. There's some little holes here, and they peg in on these little posts right here. So just put these in like that. And same thing here. So now you got his legs. And let's just come up here and do the arms. Pretty much you just like semi-transform him. Just pull out his legs here. Same thing with this guy. You can flip this part back if you want. And just do the legs like that. And you actually got to position these in like this, because the posts or the holes here where these connect to the posts are right there, so they're going to kind of go like this and there, and then it's just a matter of attaching the little fists or arms here. So these just kind of slide in here, I think, or actually no, they just go like that. So there's that one. They basically go in these little grooves here, right there. So like that. So there you go. And there's the posts right there. These just peg in like that. And like that. So there you go. You can see his arms there. And let's go ahead and turn him around now and put Bone Crusher in here. And he's kind of weird. I forgot how they showed him on here. But you can just kind of have him sticking out like this, because the only place you attach him is right here. And I really don't understand the reason why he's there. I guess they just needed a place for him to go. I think you can kind of fold this up out of the way. And, oops. He's kind of locking up here on me again. There we go. So I'll just do something like this. I'm just going to kind of have him hanging out here. I think there is a way you actually kind of fold him over so that he's tucked in a little bit more. It's not just sticking straight out. Excuse me. And then to do a Scrapper here, basically, I believe you just fold his scoop up. Actually, I think he just goes straight in like so. Pegs in here. Actually, there's a way to do it. You got to kind of do his legs backwards, I think it was. Something like this. Yeah. So I think you put him like this, and then he should be able to line up in here now. So let's do that. And then you just basically fold the scoop up in here. I got it right. I actually got it sitting too high up. So that's the tricky part here, is getting this part. Let's see, how did we do that? Like that. Let's see if I can get them on the post now. There we go. And oops, There it goes. And he just came apart, but let's put this back together. There you go. And then you can throw his little weapon here in his hand, like so. And now he's all combined and forming Devastator. So there he is there. Let's just kind of move him back to the side. Get that out of the way. There he is there. Let's kind of zoom in just a little bit. So pretty cool version of him. I do like it. I think it looks very nice. I like the head. They kind of did something a little different with him there. Looks very Japanese robot-like there, the way they sculpted the head, I think. You can get some articulation on him. Probably actually a little bit more than the original G1 version, but the arms here can rotate. Be careful with this guy. It kind of falls apart if you don't have everything all kind of, you know, pegged in very well. But the arms do rotate around here because they're just basically sitting on those little posts. So you can rotate them at the shoulders here, and because of the way these legs are extended out for these little scavenger and hooks figures here, you could probably bend them here, kind of like an elbow bending action or movement there, like that. And other than that, that's pretty much it. There's not any waist movement or legs, other than just maybe, you know, rotating the little feet here around. But that's about it. So yeah, it is similar to the original Devastator in that regard, in that it's, you know, it's just kind of a big sort of mishmash of vehicles that combine together to kind of form a, you know, human-like shape. So it's a kind of a big brick of plastic in a way too. But I think it's a cool version. It's rather neat looking. I like the sculpting of it. I like the Micromaster toys in general, so I like this version of him. And if for no other reason, it's cool because it's a lot smaller and it just doesn't take up a lot of shelf space in your collection. So that's always a bonus. So anyways, I don't know how much these guys go for online, but I would imagine you could probably find them for a decent price. I wouldn't pay too much for them though. So if you like what you see, go out and get them. Anyways, I think I'll wrap it up here with my look at the Transformers Universe Micromaster Devastator.